Hey kids, welcome to Horizon Kids at Home. It's Sammy. You might know me from J-Zone or Cubby House, and I'm so excited to be with you today for the lesson. Today we're actually going to talk about Esther, and we're going to learn about the courage that God gives her and how that you can have the same courage that God gives Esther. Esther is my favourite story in the Bible, and it has been since I was a kid, so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Esther's story. So she was chosen out of hundreds of other girls to marry King Xerxes, which is such a funny name, Xerxes. Does anyone know a Xerxes? I don't think so. I definitely don't. So she was chosen out of hundreds of girls, which was definitely from God because he had purposes for her. Now that Esther was queen, she was faced with a situation where the king was actually going to kill her people. He didn't at first realize that it was her people, but at the end of the day he was going to be killing the Jews, which was really sad, and it really shocked Queen Esther, and she was a little bit anxious about what she was going to do about this. God used Esther's uncle. His name was Mordecai, which is another funny name. Again, I don't know any Mordecais, to help inspire her, to give her courage to go and speak to the king and to seek God to give her more courage. So back in those days, it was actually really dangerous to go and talk to the king. If he didn't want to talk to you then and there, you could actually be killed. So this is why Esther was quite afraid of going to talk to the king, even though she knew it had to happen to save the people. So she prayed with God and she got courage, and she went and started to try and talk to King Xerxes. The king actually really liked Esther, so he said, yes, I'm happy to talk to you. And that worked out really well because she was able to ask him to save her people and to not kill them because they hadn't actually done anything wrong. So the king then said, yes, Esther, I'm going to save your people. They don't deserve to die. Thanks to the courage that God had given Esther, she was able to talk to the king and able to save her people and achieve God's purpose that he had for her life and why he had made her queen. When I was a kid in primary school and even up until I was a teenager, I used to not be able to sleep at night. It started, when I was about 8 years old. I just was a little bit afraid of the dark, and I would also be really anxious about not being able to fall asleep, and then that would make me anxious about thinking that I would sleep through my alarm and I would miss school, and I didn't want to miss school, and this just meant that I wouldn't get to sleep sometimes from 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and the anxiety I felt was just so much. And one day as I got older, I was able to realize that if I prayed to God, he would give me courage and I didn't need to be anxious about sleeping, and he would give me this amazing courage that I could just be at rest and have peace, and I would sleep great, and I can now fall asleep like that, and I can sleep all through the night and I have no problem sleeping at all. So similar to Esther, God gave her courage and she was able to achieve amazing purposes. God gave me courage and I can now sleep, which has helped me achieve amazing purposes in my life. And so I just want to encourage you guys that God has an awesome calling on your life and he has amazing opportunities for you, and we all can't wait to see what those are. And those opportunities, God is going to give you courage that you can't get anywhere else, so you can achieve those things in your life, the goals you set out. When something comes up in your life next time and you're feeling a bit anxious about it or a bit worried, remember to pray to God and ask him for courage, and he will give you it and he will support you through it because you don't have to do it by yourself, and you can rely on God to give you that. Go and watch the story of Esther, or you can go and read the story of Esther in your Bible and have a chat with your family, and I'll be back a bit later to ask you some questions about the story.